Okay, students, good day. Here we are, week 15. We're going to wrap this semester up. The purpose of this video is nothing more than to verbally go over the final exam with you. I should have sent you an email earlier today. Today is Friday, the 4th of December. And so just want to go over these questions very briefly for your review and for your study so you can do well in the final. So the final is going to be 50 multiple choice. It's going to be scheduled for December 8th. Starting at 9:50. Online, it's under the weekly folder area in which you have to hit that, and it'll get you into the test. So hopefully I've done my due diligence and doing things correctly. So let's talk about these 50 questions. Okay, so the first question is goes like this. They're all multiple choice. The average length of stay of a guest at the Alta Resort is 6 days. To avoid losing revenue for no-shows during peak season, the resort requires guests to pay room charges in full. So some properties in resort areas may ask you to pay upfront. And what is this type of reservation known as? Is it known as advance payment, prepayment, MCO, or it's a corporate? That's on page 183 in the text. The correct answer is prepayment. I don't. I know a few people that have done this, and I know myself did this too. I think we had to prepay in our resort when we made our trip to Cancun, but I've not done too much of this as a business person. Okay, number 2, central reservation offices typically exchange room availability information with member properties to communicate the reservations transactions. So anyways, this happens on days in which maybe you're close to being sold out. Maybe a guest has a particular need and you cannot fulfill that need. So you call some of your competitors. How often does that occur? Is it weekly? Is it daily? Is it hourly? Is it timely? Correct answer is on a timely basis. Number 3, nothing more than something about a guest room status and is it blocked? Which of the following is true? So most of those questions, this came from the text, page 182. I'm not going to give you the answer. I want you to research that, but you'll need to know something about guest room status being blocked. Number 4, which of the following terms is used to classify lost business when potential guests choose not to make a reservation? Is that denial? Is it regret? Is it turn away? Is it no show? The correct answer is B, regret. Excuse me. Number 5, blocking fewer rooms than the number requested by a group. Sometimes the group or the conference head, the VIPs, will say we want X amount of rooms, and sometimes the hotel will say we're not going to, maybe not tell them, but based upon the group's history, what is that known as? That's known down as a washdown. The answers, potential answers, are A, gamification, B, washdown, C, cutoff date, D, cancellation. The correct answer for number 5, blocking fewer rooms, is the washdown. Number 6, this came from the first part of the chapter 1, I believe, identifying smaller groups within a target market and developing products and services to satisfy these groups. What is that? Is it franchising? Is it market segmentation, demand marketing, supply marketing? It is market segmentation, just to make sure you got that. All right, number 7. Number 7, which of the following may be characteristics of an extended stay hotel? And extended stay hotel. So, correct answer, limited housekeeping services. Other answers to choose from are several kinds of food and beverage. It's asking which of the following may be characteristics. B would be recreational exercise facilities. No. Conference and meeting rooms. No. The correct answer is D. The level of service quality in hotels is determined by independent rating services, increasing service variability, consistent service delivery, variety of amenities offered. So this is a question Casavana asked in the first part of the text. We talked about this. And if there's one thing I can hopefully share with you that you can take with you, is that, when it comes to service quality, probably the most important thing, and I would agree with this, is consistency. He adds a few words to it. He says consistent service delivery. Yeah, service delivery, being timely with it, and under promising, over delivering, but really probably the most important thing is consistency and timing. Number 9, hotels that maintain a relatively high ratio of staff members to guests are likely to provide world-class service. That's the correct. Your choices are A, economy, B, mid-range, C, world-class, and D, quality. World-class hotel. I interviewed one time a gentleman from the Greenbrier, which is a beautiful hotel in West Virginia, close to Washington, D.C. Their ratio of employees to guests is like 1 to 1. unbelievable. I've never stayed there. I've heard things about it, but that would be known as a world-class hotel. Number 10, which of the following types of hotels is least likely to offer? Which of these hotel market segments is least likely to offer uniform guest services? So when I think of they're not going to offer a uniform, or least likely, it's going to be probably a less expensive type hotel. So the correct answer is economy limited service hotels. You can choose from world-class hotels, you can choose first-class service hotels, mid-range service hotels, but economy limited service hotels is the correct answer. Which of the following best describes a mission statement? We talked about that. When I think mission statement, I think unique purpose. So the answer for that one is a statement of organization's unique purpose. That's right. What is my purpose? What is our purpose for existing? In Frankenmuth, we'd say, Zenner says we create profits through great guest service. That's their mission. Bavarian Inn, we would say we create enjoyable experiences. So once again, the relationship is with mission is unique purpose. Number 12, activities and standards that an organization must successfully perform to efficiently carry out its mission is called B, goals. Activities and standards. So it's the benchmarks too, the goals. Number 13, which of the following areas of the hotel is a support center? Okay, think back to support center. Support center means you're not making money. So that could be an accounting department, it could be housekeeping, it could be the engineering department. The correct answer in this one, number 13, is housekeeping. I'll give you other answers to choose from there. You got the profit center areas such as the gift shop, food and beverage department, and the front office department. So the correct answer for support center is housekeeping. Number 14, which of the following hotel divisions or departments would primarily be responsible for maintaining the grounds surrounding hotel? So okay, you come to the Grand. The grounds are just beautiful. So think about that. Who would be responsible in that type of environment as who maintain the grounds? Casavana would say it's probably the engineering or the maintenance division. So engineering division, keep that in mind for number 14. Number 15, which of the following allows employees to vary their times they start and end work? The correct answer is flex time. That's in probably, I think it's back on page 85 or so. I have my notes. I'll give you answers such as compressed work schedule, flex time, job sharing, and reasonable accommodation. The correct answer is flex time, which he talks about. And we try to use flex time in the industry to try to promote that as a recruiting tool too. We say to our college students, at least in Frankenmuth, the ones that we don't have so many from Northwood because that's maybe a little far distance. And shoot, in Northwood, you can find valuable employment, whether it's on campus or whether it's Hotel H or other properties, food and beverage nearby. And I understand that. So I probably wouldn't drive either from Midland to Frankenmuth to work at Zenner's or Bavarian Inn. So it's all good. But yeah, we use that as flex time. Number 16, which of the following is a primary front office concern during the occupancy stage? Okay, so the guests are there during the occupancy stage. So what does he say about that? It's in the text. Which is a primary front office? The correct answer is security. Guests want to have something that is very secure, and that's what we need to see. Number 17. Okay, number 17, a guest checks into the room for a one-night stay. Early the next morning, the guest leaves without paying their bill. When checking at 4 p.m., the housekeeping report, the front desk finds room 207 listed as vacant and ready for sale, and realizes the guests were that's known as a skipper. And we had a variety of quizzes, or excuse me, a variety of terms on page like around 110. The do out, the sleeper, the skipper, the sleep out. These are all things that you probably need to be in tune with for the final. On March 3rd, a guest checks into room 233 and reserves a room for the next 3 nights. On March 2nd, the next day, March 1st, March 2nd, the next day, the occupancy report from the front desk would list the status of room 233 as, that's known as a stayover. So once again, those terms, stayover, sleepover, late checkout, those are all things to be familiar with. But the correct answer in that situation is it's a stayover. They're there for 3 days. They're classified as a stayover. The functional organization of the front desk would be based upon efficiency. The layout. So we talked about this. The layout would be things such as 3.5 feet high. You don't want to have it so that the front desk is so low it's going to hurt your back. But also, other things to consider with efficiency is minimize employees turn their back. You really do not want to have your back turned to your guest during their talking with you. You do not want to have that happening such that guest comes up and your back is turned to the front desk. So yeah, minimize employees from the back. That is correct. B, not allowing employees to leave guests unattended. That'd be another thing Casavana points out. We try to emphasize that too. Do not leave the guests unattended. C says none of the above. D says both A and B. So the correct answer in that situation, number 19, is D, both A and B. In the OmniQuest book, we talked about this very, very briefly about leadership. And I had the privilege. We've not done OmniQuest this semester, but I just want to bring this up. And it's a pretty basic question, which you're going to get right. In the book, the author states that she wants to work with brave and bold leaders. It's true. And that leadership requires courage and serious practice, which is true. So C says none of the above. D says both A and B. The correct answer is both A and B. So that's number 20. Number 21. The report that indicates which rooms are occupied, which guests are expected to check out the following day is called the occupancy report. That's back in chapter, I'm not sure what chapter it was, probably page 223, my notes say. In short-term, a room's readiness for sale is determined by its housekeeping status. That's right, room readiness is determined by the housekeeping status, not the reservation, not the registration, pre-registration. It's the housekeeping status. That's number 22. So, number 23. Nothing more than questions. Got a couple of questions. Modified American, the European, Asian. This is a hotel, and the meals are priced separately from guest room charges. That's known as the European plan. The standard room rate, number 24, established by a hotel for a particular category of rooms, is known as the rack rate. So you got problems with the room rate and rack rate, so keep that in mind. Hotels, number 25, practice of extending credit to its guests by agreeing to bill the guest company for charges is called direct billing. Many properties will do that with their VIP guests. Maybe they're not hotel guests, but they'll have food and beverage responsibilities, and they'll have maybe holiday parties, and we've got a couple of those in Franklin that we do, say minimal, but they are good. During the holiday season, which is now, but we won't be having it this particular holiday, is that, have a group of maybe 150 or 200. They have a food and beverage of, $30 for food, close to $30 for beverage. You can do the math. That is good business for us, and we allow the direct billing process to happen there. Number 26, housekeeping and cleaning responsibilities typically determined. We've talked about that. Usually they're determined by the general manager. That's a textbook question. Number 27, which of the following is used to plan the work of the housekeeping departments? By specifying items cleaned and maintained by the housekeeping department. Area inventory list. And basically what you're doing in that particular example is you're breaking down the whole entire building and doing an inventory of certain things, and then you're doing the old who, what, where, when, why. How often is it going to be cleaned? Who's going to do it? Maybe it's position-wise, and then you just put that list and plan together. So the correct answer for that is area inventory list. Number 28, required level performance that establishes the quality of work that must be done. We talked about that quite a bit during class. Performance standards. Performance standards are nothing more than what is expected from the employee for the particular position. And I've used that many times in the conversation of coaching and mentoring and disciplining employees, saying our standards are this, your performance standards are not up to our expectations. A simple example of this might be is if you've noticed, if you have a time and attendance system, that an employee for 2 weeks has been tardy 3 out of the 10 days, that performance standards might not be up to standards, and you'd say, Randy, I need to talk to you. Our notes indicate that you've been tardy 3 out of the last 10 days, so your performance standards are below our standards. So let's talk about how we can get these standards back up to where they need to be. Okay, which is the following, number 29, which is the following of the functions of the front desk audit? Ensuring the separation of front office job functions. That is not correct. Balancing all the front office accounts. That sounds correct. C, resolving room status. Absolutely. Correct answer for front office audit is both B and C. You want to balance all the front office accounts. You also want to resolve the room status discrepancies. Number 30, which of the following is typically considered the most important outcome of the front office audits? The correct answer is a daily operations report. It gives us all the information on a daily basis. Number 31, which of the following statistics help the front office manager decide on whether to sell rooms to walk-in guests on nights when the hotel is near full occupancy? Correct answer is percentage of no-shows, which is B. The most important managerial function according to Casavana. Remember that? We talked about planning, organizing, controlling. He believes it's planning, so that's what we're going to go with. Most important planning The most important managerial function, according to Casavant, is planning. So that's number 32. Number 33, the most common used operating ratio in the front office is the occupancy percentage. And you'll have to determine an occupancy percentage here coming up for one of the test questions. Number 34, an advantage of internal recruiting. So internal recruiting is when you take an employee who's currently working for the organization and promoting that person up in the organization. What's the advantage of that? And it improves morale of promoted employees. Usually, yes, it does. It improves the morale of other employees who see future opportunities. True. And C, managers can better assess the abilities of internal recruits. These are all great things of internal recruiting. So the correct answer for the internal recruiting is D, all the above. Which of the following focuses on employee job performance and outlines the steps the employee can take to improve job skills and performance? So what is that called? Some organizations will call that performance development plans. He calls it a performance appraisal. So basically it's an evaluation. It's evaluation of the employees, and it gives feedback to the employees from the organization. It should consist of both good and things to work upon. So that is the correct answer. Job or performance appraisal. Another question on American Modified European Asian Plan. This report, number 37, is a physical check. A physical check. So think about that physical check in which you're actually going out and taking a look at what the rooms are happening. So a physical check. So this is a physical check indicating the current housekeeping status of each room. This is known as a housekeeping. All right, number 38, the idea of scheduling and bringing employees in at different times to help control and monitor the labor dollars being spent. What is that term? That's known as staggered. That is a Bavarian Inzender's concept. No reason to bring maybe all the front desk agents in at 9 o'clock, so maybe bring one in at 9 o'clock to handle the day business, and the person goes home from the night audit team, and then maybe that person will work 9 to 4, 9 to 5, and depending upon business, if the room counts are significantly stronger, you might bring another person in, maybe have the next one working 1 to 10, and so verse. So it's not bringing everyone in at the same time, it's staggered. Very good concept for drawing back on labor. Okay, students, we're almost there. Number 39, we got 2 questions on the SMART acronym. You know that. So S once again stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for acceptable, R stands for realistic, and T stands for time. 2 questions on that, number 39 and 40. Number 41 is a charge imposed by some hotels on guests who don't check out by the established checkout time. Late checkout. We do that all the time, and we tell it to the guests. We expect you to be out by 11 o'clock, and if you're out by 12 o'clock, there'll be a late checkout fee. I remember Connor coming in class saying that you just do it. We do. A city ledger account that has not been settled within a reasonable collection period, that's known as a delinquent account. You don't have too many of those. Number 43 is determining the occupancy percentage. You can do that. It's pretty simple. And then number 44 is another opportunity in which the organization has accomplished its goal. We'll ask you to assess what happened there. That's number 44. Number 45 is known as the manager's report, in which it summarizes hotel financial activities for 24 hours. That's known as a daily report of operations on page 448. Number 46 is one of those managerial functions, which I'm asking. The management function involves recruiting applicants and selecting those best qualified to fill available positions. That's known as staffing, page 421. And we're getting there. The management function that's complicated and it's best when it's done by example. That's the key. Best done by example. When I say best done by example, what does that mean? You lead by example. So this is known as leading. Correct answer, D, leading. This management function ensures that actual results closely match plan results. So you got to observe and assess. That is the controlling function, which I think is very difficult because usually when you assess things, you usually have to communicate to some people that they might be below the standards of performance. So number 49, this is a common sense strategy for establishing room rates. We talked about that. I believe it was quiz 8 or quiz 7. That's known as a market condition. And the last question is an advantage of external recruiting. So I'm going to bring somebody else from the outside into the organization, someone who does not work for us. What is probably the best advantage of the external recruiting is it brings new blood to the organization. And sometimes that's what's needed. You don't want to have everyone that has the same thinking which is known as groupthink. So that's the advantage of external recruiting, is you might get some different ideas, different thought processes. So there it is, young people. Thank you. Hope to see you around sometime, and I wish you the best. Be safe and do well on this final. See ya. Bye-bye.